I was shocked to find out that my son's girlfriend was his first love. This is Adeline. Jenny. Actually, Dad, are you okay? I'm sorry, it's just, you look exactly like this old friend of mine. Adeline. Bowman. That's my mother. Although the girl's explanation seems reasonable, William always feels something wrong in his heart. He has seen very similar twins, but he has never seen such a similar mother and daughter. However, the other party is now the son's girlfriend. He can only hold all doubts in his heart. How is she doing now? She passed away. In a few words, William realized what it was like to fall in love. There's only one first love. Even now, that kind of unforgettable love is still the best memory of his life. But he didn't know that this was his fake first love, Adeline. That night, William fell asleep without any surprise. The moment he saw Jenny, his thoughts were brought back to a certain day when he was young. In the Thangundan in the countryside of London, as an international student, William met the code that made him fall in love at first sight. With his help, he was able to see a beautiful mistake and lost his way. And when the red light of the engine was close, he instantly regained his happiness again. That's how the two first met men and women started their journey of fate. 3 weeks later, William ended his international studies. But this time, he went back to the United States with Adeline. After spending this time together, William was sure that Adeline was the perfect woman he was looking for. This older sister of his fulfilled all his fantasies about women. But when he was going to propose, this sister suddenly disappeared from his world. William didn't know at this time that his sister was also sleeping in his son's room. After a night of thinking, opportunity to be alone, William said the regret that had been hidden countless lies to cover up. Because of Fastian's insensitivity, William saw a trace that he will never forget, a secret she kept for a lifetime. But now she has no way out. One morning in 1908, a baby girl was born in Jijinshin Children's Hospital. Under the witness of her relatives, her parents named her Adela Baumann. At the age of 21, a young and capable engineer broke into her world. Soon after, they fell in love with each other. Without hesitation, a year later, Dela's daughter Milady died. But the happy life didn't last long. At the age of 5, Dela's husband left them forever, but the bad luck didn't leave him. One winter night, Dela's car fell into the ice lake out of control. As a duck, she had no chance to escape. 2 minutes later, Dela's heart stopped beating. But at that moment, a lightning struck the sky, and the lightning hit Dela's car accurately. In an instant, the 60,000 amp current ran through her body countless times. Her heart, which had been quiet, was revived under the stimulation of this external force. At the moment of her escape, Della sincerely thanked this gift from heaven. But as she grew older, handsome Ellie suddenly broke in. Della's long-awaited heart began to beat again. Although she just looked at her from afar, Ellie was still captivated by the charm of the woman in front of her. So when Della was about to leave, she ran after her as a mature woman who has been through 100. But under Ellie's seduction, her heart is still being touched inadvertently. For the sake of Ellie's handsome face, Dura did not request, but this shameless thief threatened to burn down those legendary works. In order to keep those books, she had no choice but to agree to Ellie's excessive request. What surprised Dara the most was that Ellie did not prepare those vulgar movies for her, but directly brought her to a black hole. After inquiring about Dara's knowledge of history, Ellie set the date and place in the will of the handsome face, and feeling her tenderness from the bottom of her heart, Dara was also incredibly moved. Decades later, she finally felt the tension of her heart racing again. If I remember correctly, the last time she felt this way was William. This kind of wanted to get close, wanted to rush in haste to make Dara deeply infatuated. Wicked, she broke the rule of staying for decades in this way. After a night of getting along, Ellie has fallen in love with Dara deeply. This sister fulfilled all her fantasies about women. She grew up to be like a mother's friend, like a kind aunt. In short, she knows everything you don't know, and she would do everything you just know. The only thing that makes her uncomfortable is the fruit of this sister. At the moment of separation, Ellie even felt a feeling of being abandoned. With a happy mood, Dara returned to her apartment. However, this isn't go to work, I'm moving. Are you serious? With sadness and sorrow, Dara came to her daughter. If there is anyone in this world that she can blame, her daughter, Milady, is the only one. Hearing that her mother met love again, Milady was even more excited than her. No one knows more about her mother's misfortune and loneliness than her. She has lived a life in the hide and seek, but now those who suspect her mother are all dead. She should also start her new life. Tell her you're sorry. Tell him you made a mistake. I can't, I'm leaving. You're moving to Oregon, not Timbuktu. Come on. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for me. Milady knew that she was wronged. She didn't want her mother to continue to be alone. And after feeling her daughter's love, Dara finally had the courage to try to love. She found Ellie and took her to her secret base. It was an abandoned repair shop. But the moment Dara turned on the light, Ellie was shocked by her sister's romance. In an instant, the beautiful poem from the Oriental Kingdom crossed her mind. This time, Dara promised herself to fall in love first. But fate always comes in a sudden. At the moment she saw William, she also felt the dream of fate again. After confessing her biggest secret, Dara was lost again. But William didn't blame her for her choice. But she hoped Dara wouldn't disappear again. She didn't want her son to suffer the same regret and pain as her. Leaving a note of farewell, Dara hurriedly escaped from William's villa. When Ellie saw the cold message, her heart was in a panic. When she went downstairs, Dara's figure was gone. At this moment, Ellie saw her father, who was also lost. Her father's answer made Ellie more confused. She even thought her father drove away his obsession. And looking at her son's doubtful anger, William also felt the same way. His collapse at that time was no less than his son now. So when Ellie was going to chase him out, William decided to help her make up her mind. Because night fell, a lightning struck Dara's brain again, and she came back to life like a miracle. On the hospital bed, Dara, who had experienced 2 deaths, finally opened all the knots in her heart. If eternal life is a curse, then love is the only antidote. Facing Ellie again, she had no more concerns. Facing Ellie again, life